What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Political Pegasus here, bringing back to you guys in Remnant from the Ashes, and today we'll be taking a look at my all-new build known as the Soul of the Chaos Cultist. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so my build is as followed. I am utilizing the sidearm known as submachine gun with the weapon mod attached onto it known as Beacon. I'm using the primary rifle known as the assault rifle with the weapon mod attached onto it known as Seed Caller. From there, my melee weapon is the Butcher's Flail with the Parrot Corrosive Strike. Then I'm using a one-piece cultist hat. Then I'm using the Chaos Griever set for the chest as well as the legs. And then from there, I'm using one necklace, which is the Brutal Mark, one ring, which is the Blood Font, and then the other ring is the Soul Link. So with that being said, let's move on to traits. So the traits are going to be as follows. The main primary traits you probably should go about picking up for this build is going to be Vigor, Endurance, and probably Quick Hands. These guys are going to be the three main traits that you'll utilize within the course of this build at the end of the day. Of course, like I say in all my other builds, it is optimal to go about being well-rounded and diverse, so I would recommend to go about picking up every traits to make your build the best that it can be. And that way you are well prepared for any encounter that you happen to go about coming across. Now, enough about all that. Let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff where it comes down to the gameplay. Alright, so we are here on Earth. We are playing on Apocalypse mode. We are down below in the sewers. Now, we're going to go over the pros and the cons of the build, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. So if you guys haven't already seen before, I have done a few summoner builds on the course of my channel. This one is another one of those set summoners builds, a little bit more up to date. This build focuses around these skulls as well as the Weedles that end up running around with me, and from there it allows you to go about not only soaking up damage, but to be able to deal a lot of damage and to be able to self-sustain yourself. At the end of the day, it is a very well versatile build and also a lot of fun to walk around with this small miniature demonized army to go and mow down your enemies. Whether it happens to be a group of them, elites, or bosses, this build can do it very, very well. Keep in mind, it is a little bit different of a playstyle than what you might be used to thus far. What do I mean by that is that you're going to utilize your summons to be able to do a lot of the work for you. So what that means is that you're going to position yourself accordingly where your summons are more of out in the front, and then from there you're sitting more in the back. Of course, any of the targets that your summons happen to primarily focus on, if you have line of sight of that set target, focus on that target with your summons. If you don't go about doing so, what happens is your damage output falls off and your summons end up dying, and they don't end up killing the target. So instead of dealing with one enemy, now you're dealing with two or three. With that being said, this build doesn't really have much self-sustain or damage output if your summons happen to be dead. So keep that in mind. So what you want to go about doing is you want to position accordingly where your summons are continuously taking the brunt of the damage, but you're also utilizing them to be able to self-sustain yourself as well. So with all that in mind, one of the cool aspects with this build is that you can multitask with it pretty easily. From there, you're actually able to go around and loot stuff while your summons go about taking care of multiple ads, where you can pick up ammo crates, the health potions, to take consumables, to be able to get in a corner or heal where your summons go about dishing out the damage and they end up healing you in return, or you can just hide away and be able to summon more summons. At the end of the day, it's really, really well versatile, and it's definitely something that will take a little bit of getting used to, but in reality, it is still a lot of fun. One of the drawbacks of this particular build is that you do have to get used to shooting through your summons. Now, you can accidentally kill your summons, so keep that in mind. So you don't want to use anything that ties into explosions or AoE output damage, because it will kill your summons rather quickly, and if your summons are dead, like I said before, you don't actually have any self-sustain or damage output. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your summons are positioned in a way where you don't end up shooting them, and if you do shoot them and kill them, that's okay. Sometimes you have to go about doing so. There's no other way around it. But I would recommend, if you can, try to avoid dealing any damage to your summons and just shoot on the corner sides or peak doors, or position yourself accordingly so that way you don't end up dealing or dishing any damage out to your summons. With all that in mind, another cool aspect with this particular build as well is that the assault rifle is really good for mid to long range combat, while the submachine gun is fantastic for close to mid range based combat. So you are very versatile regardless of any range that the enemies are coming at you at, and from there utilizing the summons as well to be able to not only self-sustain yourself, but as well as do damage, but you can position them accordingly where they can tank a lot of shots. I've had it where my summons can actually tank shots from elites, whether it's snipers, whether it's a dragon's fire breath, or so on and so forth. So from there, they take the full brunt of the damage. They won't survive after the first hit, but from there you can just continuously resummon up. You have a lot of mod power generation with this particular build, so it's really wise to utilize that at the end of the day, just by continuously proccing your summons and having them up all the time. So yeah, that's going to be pretty much it with the build, guys. I hope you guys happen to enjoy. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, leave them down below in the comment section. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you guys haven't already, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Later.